SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
Dives for the pylon, and that's a touchdown. Mayfield rifles, touchdown. Xavier does it again. Hill sets, throws, end zone, touchdown. Pressure coming, Allen goes down. And he's all the way to the end zone. It's dislodged, but recovered.
Well, did he catch? Look at this. Wait a second. Look at this.
If you love the NFL, you're in the right place. Thanks for watching SportsBeat. You're also in the right place if you love the Utah Jazz. We have the best from Dennis Lindsey, Quinn Snyder, and the players as training camp tipped off this week.
And the Utes have another star running back, but Kyle Whittingham not totally happy with his offense. Hear why. And the emotion from BYU players now that they're coping with the heartbreaking loss of coming up 1 yard short against Coastal Carolina.
But we start in the NFL and Taysom Hill. He's made a lot of plays in the NFL. He's run for touchdowns, caught touchdown passes. He's even blocked punts. But there was one thing he hadn't done yet.
Yeah, he'd never thrown a touchdown pass, but he did check that box today, leading the Saints to a win over the Falcons.
And it didn't take him long. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Hill's going to find Traquan Smith wide open. 15-yard touchdown, 7-0 Saints. Then in the second quarter, Hill's going to find Jared Cook, a laser. Great pass, 11 yards for the score. Saints up 14-6. Taysom sharing a smile and a hug on the sidelines with Coach Sean Payton. Life's good when you've got first place locked down. Hill also ran for 83 yards. Alvin Kamara led the team with 88 yards and a score. And with the win, the Saints are the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot.
The Raiders visiting the winless Jets. Second quarter, Derek Carr to Darren Waller. Waller had a huge game, 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. That gave them the 17-13 lead. Fourth quarter, the Jets come back. Touchdown runs by Sam Darnold, and this one by Ty Johnson gives them a 28-24 lead. The Raiders had 35 seconds to go 61 yards, and they did it very easily. Carr to Henry Ruggs. The Jets clearly letting the Raiders win this one, right? Let me tell you something, Jets fans, the number one pick is not saving this disaster happening in New York. All right, the last time the Cleveland Browns had a winning season was in 1994. 2 years later, team owner Art Modell moved them to Baltimore, where they became the Ravens, and they've won 2 Super Bowls. In 1999, the NFL expanded, added a team in Cleveland, Browns 2.0. This version has never had a winning season until today. Yes, history happening. Cleveland taking on the AFC South leading Titans. This is like finding a unicorn in the NFL here. Derrick Henry fumbling. His first lost fumble since December of 2019. Leads to this. Baker Mayfield to tackle Kendall Lamb for the score. 17-0. Then Mayfield going deep to Donovan Peoples-Jones. A 75-yard touchdown connection. Mayfield passed for 334 and 4 scores. The Titans did make a late comeback, but the Browns hang on, securing their first winning season since 1994.
The Colts are right on the Titans' heels in the AFC South division standings. They were facing the Texans. First quarter, Phillip Rivers to T.Y. Hilton, 21 yards for a 7-0 lead. 2 minutes later, Deshaun Watson ties it up for the 11-yard touchdown run. Now to the second quarter, Rivers with wide open Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield, 39 yards for the score. Show you the final 2 minutes. Colts up 6. Texans at the 2-yard line where Watson, this is the Texans season right there. Fumbles the snap. Colts recover. They win 26-20. If you're a Utah Utes fan, you enjoyed several former players now in the NFL making plays on Sunday, including a few rookies. Kyle Van Noy had a big day, and you already know about Taysom Hill. He leads off this week's locals in the NFL.
As Hill sets, throws, end zone, touchdown. Traquan Smith, and that is the first passing touchdown for Taysom Hill in his NFL career.
Taysom Hill was 27 of 37 for 232 yards and the first 2 touchdown passes of his NFL career.
As Hill throws to the end zone, touchdown, Jared Cook.
That doesn't mean he didn't run, though. 14 carries, 83 yards, including this 43-yard run in the Saints' win.
Hill forced to his right, now takes off across midfield, has a first down and more, still going down the sideline and finally forced out of bounds. Pressure coming, Allen goes down. Kyle Van Noy with his second sack of the day.
Kyle Van Noy had a monster game for the Miami Dolphins. 3 sacks, 8 tackles, 5 for a loss, and this pass breakup that led to an interception. The Dolphins are 8-4.
Pressure coming. Finley goes down.
Devontae Booker started for the Raiders, 16 carries for 50 yards in their comeback win.
Now the 6.
Jamal Williams. What a run! And maybe even a better move after he was tackled.
Jamal Williams busts free for a 20-yard gain and busts a move when he was done. 36 total yards in the Packers win.
What a run and a finish.
Javelin Guidry was the man who jarred it loose for the Jets.
Javelin Guidry made 6 tackles and forced 2 fumbles in the Jets' loss to the Raiders. Marcus Williams had 7 tackles and 1 pass breakup in the Saints' playoff clinching win. John Pennicini had 3 tackles and a fumble recovery in the Lions' comeback win over the Bears. Bobby Wagner had 6 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a pass breakup in the Seahawks' loss to the Giants.
Looking for Ingram, going high against Bobby Wagner. That was a fun matchup to watch. And Wagner comes out on top. Stafford looking for Amendola. That's broken up very nicely by Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson had 4 tackles and a pass breakup in the Bears' loss to the Lions.
Brown the carry, but there's nowhere to go. He'll lose yardage.
Leki Fotu's back off the injury list in Arizona. 2 tackles for loss in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams. Nick Vigil had 8 tackles, 1 for a loss in the Chargers' loss to the Patriots. Matt Gay made all 5 extra point attempts and 1 of his 2 field goal attempts, a 39-yarder in the Rams' big win. Garrett Bowles with another clean game. No penalties, no sacks, as he seeks his first Pro Bowl nod. He made it possible for another Ute to score touchdowns.
Tim Patrick. His 4th touchdown reception of the season, and what a drive.
Tim Patrick, 4 catches, 44 yards, and not 1, but 2 scores.
Control 1-2, he has it, unless he drops it here.
Touchdown. Yep. Great catch. Tight coverage. Feet down.
Patrick has stepped in and really made some big plays for this team. I tell you, this Daniel Sorensen has been playing a little bit like John Lynch here lately.
High praise for Daniel Sorensen on Sunday Night Football. He backed it up with 5 tackles and 2 quarterback hits in the Chiefs' win.
Daniel Sorensen is right there to stop him at the line of scrimmage.
Well, high risk and high reward, right? BYU had to schedule a game against a better-ranked opponent than they had been facing all season if they really wanted to continue to be in that conversation for a New Year's Six bowl game or even the playoffs. The risk of yesterday's loss, though, is now the Cougars' reality, stumbling in the national rankings. BYU was ranked 8th in both major polls. Today, they dropped to 14th in the AP poll and fell to 16th in the coaches' poll. The next version of the college football playoff rankings, those will come out on Tuesday. Those rankings may not matter much anymore. There's still 1 game left on the schedule, plus a bowl game, but it kind of felt like last night the season ended for the Cougars.
Yeah, we played our heart out, man, and it's just, like I said, we just got the short end of the stick on that one. You know, a loss is a loss.
Love my team, man. Love these guys. Love what we stand for, who we stand for. And blessing to be out there with my guys, my brothers. They've changed my life.
Pick up first down yardage and a whole lot more. Ty Jordan breaking tackles.
Ty Jordan, the freshman running back behind him. They give it to him, and he breaks through.
Right, run through a tackle. Once you do that, show off some of that power. 5'7", 200 pounds. Ty Jordan getting into the end zone.
Zach Moss, Eddie Johnson, John White, Devontae Booker, Mike Anderson, Joe Williams, Ty Jordan. The list of great running backs in Utah football history is long. Ty Jordan is just a freshman, only 3 games into his collegiate career, but he's already making some Utah history. His 167 yards rushing last night against Oregon State are the most by a true freshman running back since Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala ran for 180 against Utah State in 1995. He also added his first career rushing touchdown, as well as his second straight game with 100 or more all-purpose yards. Jordan is just beginning to live out his dreams.
I can't explain it with words. It was just so amazing and so exhilarating. I grew up my whole life wanting and dreaming to be a college athlete, and now I'm here, and now I'm experiencing my first couple of games and my first touchdown. And so that was just amazing, and I felt like I made my mom proud.
Ty Jordan, as evidenced by what you saw tonight, has separated himself, and he right now is definitely our lead back, and that's how it goes.
All right, now back to the Jazz. The pandemic is going to impact another NBA season, an abbreviated training camp as teams get ready to tip off before Christmas. It will be tough on veterans. Imagine being an NBA rookie right now, what they're dealing with. Life coming at you pretty fast. No summer league, no offseason activities to get ready, just straight into a season. So Jazz rookies Udoka Azubuike and Elijah Hughes have to learn and adapt quickly. You'll see where they are at when the Jazz play their first preseason game on Saturday.
You didn't get no reps. Normally, like, we get reps during the summer leagues, but not being able to do that and just jumping in, and also with all this COVID stuff going on, I mean, it's a little challenging, but at the same time, we're up to the task. We just take it one day at a time, and just keep working and keep getting better.
We have to call timeout on SportsBeat. When we come back, more from the NFL.
And we've got more from the Utah Jazz as well.
My goal is to win a championship here. It's been my goal since I got here, and still the same.
Boy on his back practicing, but another starter's not. We'll explain why, and will Rudy Gobert's extension talks be a distraction?
Bentley has Ty Jordan, the freshman running back, behind him. They give it to him, and he breaks through.
The Utes started hot, but the offense got a bit cold late in the game. Hear what Coach Witt said about that next.
SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
All right, so there's 6 NFL quarterbacks in history with 400 or more career passing touchdowns. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers just on the outside of that list.
Well, Rodgers went in a day's matchup against the Eagles with 397 touchdowns. Today he became the 7th quarterback on that elite list. Rodgers threw 2 first-half touchdowns to get to 399. Now in the third quarter, yep, here comes number 400. Devontae Adams reaches in and gets in. 21-3 lead for the Pack. 7 straight games with a touchdown for Adams. That ties a Packers record. Jalen Hurts comes in for the Eagles. Gives them a spark at quarterback. A 32-yard touchdown to Greg Ward. The Eagles pulled within 7 when this happened. Aaron Jones, 77 yards. Whoop! The Packers, 9-3. Let's watch this. This is beautiful. Let's put a cap on a 30-16 win. Green Bay rolling.
All right, the Bears started the season 5-1. Now they're trying to stay out of the NFC North cellar against the Lions, and there they are emerging from the dumpster fire. Fourth quarter, Mitch Trubisky to Cole Kmet. Bears take a 30-20 lead. Less than 2 minutes to go. Up 3. They just need the first down. Oh, but the Lions get the strip sack inside the 10, and they recover. Adrian Peterson, his 2nd touchdown run of the game. That's now 6 straight losses by the Bears. Lions win at 34-30.
O'Neal, lob,
You're coming into me. I'm going to make this one count.
It's Bogdanovich corner, wide open. Up, got it!
You think that was a message to Paul Millsap?
Now back to the Jazz. The offseason went by in a flash, didn't it? Now the Jazz are back in town and back to work as training camp tipped off this week after individual and small group workouts began on Tuesday. If you didn't know it already, you learned in the bubble just how important Bojan Bogdanovic is to the Utah Jazz. They missed his scoring in Orlando after his season ended with a wrist injury 6 months after surgery. Bojan is back and participating in practice. We'll have to wait and see if he'll be ready for the season opener in Portland on December 23rd.
I wanted to be there, and I was the first one that was trying to talk everybody to let me play in the playoffs. But I think that this was the kind of smart decision.
You know, getting back in the flow of the game and going up and down the court, he was able to do everything. As much as Bojan kind of shows excitement, he looked pretty enthusiastic today.
We will need to reevaluate my situation when we start with a contact practice. So I cannot tell you exactly if I'm going to be ready or not for the beginning of the season.
Well, the Jazz are now practicing as a full group. That started Friday. One player missing from the group right now is Mike Conley. He's in quarantine after coming in close contact with a family member who tested positive for COVID-19. Even though he doesn't have the coronavirus, he's got to spend 8 to 10 days away, which is a setback for the Jazz and the veteran point guard.
I'm effectively, going to miss 8 to 10 days, it feels like, of not doing anything and sitting in a room. So, like, that kind of stuff is hard to prepare for. With the team that we have and we've brought back, our depth is going to be key. Just being able to know that one night you're going to have your full team, the next night 2 or 3 guys might not be there.
It was a big offseason for Donovan Mitchell. He got his payday, the max contract extension. Well, next on the Jazz list is Rudy Gobert, eligible to receive the Supermax extension, a contract valued up to 35% of the Jazz salary cap in the first year of that extension. In other words, that's a whole lot of dough, right? The Jazz, are they willing to pay that much for Gobert? Or would the two sides maybe agree upon something worth a bit less to ensure the Jazz have some financial flexibility down the road? That's what they've got to work out. The deadline to agree to the extension with Gobert is December 21st. If that date passes, no Supermax, but still have until June 30th to work something out to keep him around. Sticking around, something both sides do want.
We don't comment on past, present, or future negotiations, but we love Rudy, and we'd like Rudy to be here for the duration of his career.
My goal is to win a championship here. It's been my goal since I got here, and still the same. About the negotiation talk, that's why I have an agent, so I can focus on basketball and let him take care of that.
Well, the Jazz are coming back with all 5 of its starters from last season and their first guy off the bench as well, in Jordan Clarkson. And when you recognize the faces in the locker room and understand the way that each player plays the game, that right there already is an advantage according to the most experienced player on the Jazz roster.
I knew coming in here last year, just the familiarity that everybody had around each other and the history everybody had. It's easy to see, why this team is always so good. Is you don't miss a beat when it comes back to the beginning of a season or something. It's a situation that is ideal for, I think, a chaotic kind of season that we're going to kind of embark on.
More with the Jazz in a moment. Now let's shift gears to the Utes. Britton Covey is back. Injuries have slowed him down the past 2 seasons, but it looks like that elusiveness and speed he displayed as a freshman has returned. Covey had 4 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown in the third quarter that gave the Utes a 23-10 lead, but he really turned on the Jets in the fourth quarter on this punt return. He takes it 64 yards to the house. The Beavers couldn't keep up. It's been a long road for Britton, which made last night special.
I don't even know if words can express how frustrating injuries have been for me. And I mean, I came in tonight more excited than any game in the past 2 years, just because I knew that when I lined up, I wouldn't be thinking about any injury or any part of my body. I could think about my assignment. So it felt great.
It was awesome to see Britt back there and doing his thing. And that punt return was vintage Covey. I mean, there's not a lot of guys in the country that could have turned that particularly scenario into a touchdown with the defenders he had to make miss.
So Ty Jordan and Britton Covey gave Utah fans reason for excitement. There were plenty of moments that also gave Kyle Whittingham indigestion. The Utes had to settle for 3 field goals on their first 3 drives. Settling for field goals on the first 3 trips to the red zone. When Brent Keithy's wide open in the end zone, you have to make that play.
We didn't score, we got field goals. That's a whole different deal. And I cut you off, I'll let you finish, but that was extremely frustrated. First 3 trips in the red zone to end up with field goals. The game should have been blown wide open earlier. And it was our inability to function how we need to in the red zone, our ineptness in the red zone. That game should have not even been close early on. To us, a field goal in the red zone is a loss. That's a negative. We've got to score touchdowns. Our touchdown percentage in the red zone is not good enough.
And then there was the fourth quarter. What were they doing? After taking a 30-10 lead, the offense gained just 12 yards on 3 drives, failing to convert in short yardage situations.
Short yardage was not good tonight. It was very frustrating to me, but it's my fault. I'm on top of everything. So whatever we're bad at is a reflection on me, and that was very frustrating. And I've got no confidence right now to go for it on 4th and short after the last few games. And it shouldn't be that way because we got big physical linemen, and they run block really well. So we got to take a hard look at schematics and what we're calling, and if we're being too generic and giving our guys a little better chance.
I have a feeling that's going to get cleaned up this week. All right, seeing Britton Covey's punt return last night got us thinking about some of the great punt returns for touchdowns in Utah football history.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones, too. So we took a vote in the KSL Sports Department, and we did come up with this top 5 list.
No. 30, 35, 40, into the inside 45. He's got a convoy. He's going to go.
Number 5, Shaky Smithson. He was pushing the pause button and then shaking his way through the UNLV coverage and housing this one, a 77-yard return in 2010.
Kalen Clay, very dangerous return man. Only the punter to beat.
Kalen Clay took this one to the house, in the big house, and in a tribute to another great return man and Michigan man, Desmond Howard. He struck that Heisman pose in the end zone when he was done. I love right here. He's like, nope, not going to get me. One of the all-time great punt returns in Utah history. Let's see it one more time. There we go.
Smith from the 39 fumbles and picks it up, still on his feet. Now he's going around. He beats the man around the wide side. He's got all kinds of real estate.
There's no disputing Steve Smith is a legend. He had trouble fielding the punt on the fly, but it really didn't matter because he still scooped it and then put the Air Force defense on skates. This was in 1999, one of the many electric punt returns in Steve Smith's career. That number 8, poor guy, had no chance.
And the ball fielded on the opposite side. How about this? Utah's going to run it in for a touchdown.
Oh, what? Where'd he go? The Utes fooled the Ducks and the cameraman. They thought Britton Covey had it. Nope. Booby Hobbs does. And you know what Booby does? He takes the punt to the house in a 55-13 win at Autzen. One of the great wins in Utah football history.
Run, breaks to the outside. He's got another hole. They got a hold of him, but can anybody grab it?
This is great. Another Steve Smith sighting. Coming in at number 1 on our list, shakes off several New Mexico defenders for his second punt return touchdown of this game. He had returns of 70 and 52 yards in this win in 1999. What were the Lobos doing?
Steve Smith, one of the all-time greats. College football on a Sunday. USC hosting Washington State. Keaton Slovis to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 4 touchdowns. This is USC linebacker Talanoa Hufanga, who tips it to himself for the interception. And he's going to leap over a defender. Almost returned it for a touchdown. Worth another look. This did set up a USC score. The Trojans destroyed. Washington State like the Mandalorian in a street fight against Stormtroopers. Slovis to Tyler Vaughn's 35-0 in the second quarter. USC now 4-0. All right, this week's play of the game has some amazing catches in college football with local connections. First, former Provo High star Ty Jones goes up and gets it. Provo represent! Even his teammates can't believe what they just saw.
Yes, we see you, Ty Jones, but we also see C. Fehoko, the former Brighton Bengal, making amazing catches for Stanford on Saturday against Washington. One of his team high 4 catches for 61 yards in that win.
This isn't a local player, but we couldn't help ourselves. Any excuse to watch this again. Alabama's Devontae Smith. 8 catches, 231 yards, and 3 touchdowns, including this gem. He's not even their best receiver. Their best receiver is out for the year with an injury.
They keep cranking them out.
No, they're stacked. It's not even fair. All right, what do the Jazz have to do to keep pace with the Lakers in the West? Well, Dennis Lindsey's going to tell us coming up.
And do you think the Jazz like Derek Favors much? Well, wait till you hear what his teammates are saying about his return to Utah. They love him. That's coming up next.
The Jaguars doing their best to compete with the Jets for that #1 draft pick. First quarter, Laviska Shenault with the touchdown catch off the ricochet. And the Jags had an early lead. We'll see that again later in the show. Third quarter, Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson. 20-yard touchdown. Vikings build a 24-16 lead. A minute left in the game. James Robinson from 1 yard out to tie it up. We're going to go to overtime. And that is where Dan Bailey wins it for the Vikings with an easy kick. And the Jags fall to 1-11 with the loss.
Well, it's a tight race out west in the NFC West. Rams facing the Cardinals today. First quarter, Kyler Murray to Dan Arnold. And he's got a whole lot of green. 59-yard touchdown, 7-0 Cardinals. Third quarter, Rams up 10. Murray to DeAndre Hopkins cuts the lead to 3. In the fourth quarter, Murray trying to lead that comeback, but gets picked up by Troy Hill, and he's gone. 35-yard return. Rams are now 8-4 with the win.
The most stunning result on Sunday, the Giants have gone from 1-7 to first place in the NFC East late first half. Seahawks bring the heat on special teams, block the punt for the safety. They have a 5-0 lead after the 7th inning. Third quarter, Daniel Jones to Alfred Morris, his second touchdown, 14-5 Giants. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Seattle trying to come back. Russell Wilson to Chris Carson to cut the lead to 5, but that was it. Giants hold on to win. They won 4 in a row. 17-12.
Lillard will drive and shoot, rejected by Gobert.
The NBA released the first half of the schedule. Friday, the Jazz will visit Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers on opening night, Wednesday, December 23rd. The first home game is against those pesky T-Wolves on Saturday, December 26th. Other key games in the first half of the schedule include home against the Clippers on New Year's Day. That'll be fun. Back-to-back home games against Zion Williamson and the Pelicans on January 19th and 21st. Back-to-back home games against Luka Doncic and the Mavs January 27th and 29th. And how about this stretch? The Celtics, Bucks, Heat, and Sixers in a 7-day stretch at home in February. They also host the Lakers for the first time on February 24th.
Well, the Jazz big splash in free agency this offseason may also go down as one of the most popular signings in team history. The return of Derek Favors after 1 season in New Orleans. It just felt right, especially within the Jazz locker room. It was obvious last season how different the Jazz were without Favors, especially when Rudy Gobert was going to the bench. With his return this season, he'll bring something to that bench that Tony Bradley and Ed Davis just couldn't replace. This week, as Jazz players talked about Favors' return, they beamed. Even players that weren't with the Jazz during Favors' first stint in Utah, like Mike Conley. He even recognized the positive impact that Favors has had on this group of players and coaches.
Hey, everybody loves Fave. He was talked about almost more than anybody when I first arrived here, even when he was in New Orleans. So to have him back on the squad is a blessing in a lot of ways. What he provides in his leadership and his abilities as a big man and a guy that can play alongside Rudy. They've had a lot of success doing that in the past.
Quick first step. Oh, he is denied by Favors.
Yeah, obviously super glad to have him back. And I mean, Fav and I stayed in contact regardless when he wasn't here anyway. So we've spoken the whole time, and like I said, just glad he's actually sitting next to me in the locker now. So it's I'll get to catch up with him even more than the last few years.
I'm very excited. You know, we all missed him last year, and be able to have him come back, it's just great. And I know that, you know, all of us are excited, and him also.
Well, the rich get richer in the offseason. The defending champion Lakers just signed Anthony Davis and LeBron James to contract extensions for big money. And they also added Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, and Wesley Matthews in free agency. All the more reason to add Derek Favors in the front court to try and combat the Lakers' size in the middle. Dennis Lindsey recognized early last season that the Jazz needed to improve the roster and make some moves to keep up with this Lakers team.
I felt like the Laker game at our place last year was a real window into what we were lacking. We think that we addressed a need with size and physicality that we had previous that we missed. It was clear that we missed it.
Well, the Jazz hope they got some of that size and physicality through the draft. Multiple draft projections had Udoka Azubuike as an early to mid-second round draft pick. The Jazz used the 27th overall pick on that center from Kansas. So why did the Jazz think he was a value pick in that spot? Well, because he was one of the top players available in the entire draft, according to the Jazz.
I think our analytics ratings had him second overall. Our scouting ratings had him inside the top 10. Their defensive rating at Kansas was 80, which was the best in the NCAA. We just feel like he's a unique kid.
College hoops, it's the Holiday Hoops Giving Classic in Atlanta. Number 20 Kentucky taking on Georgia Tech, and Tech's Moses Wright-Otta. Big game. Gets the dunk for an 11-point lead, then Wright dials up one from way back. He finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds. The Yellow Jackets win 79-62. Kentucky, young team, struggling, their third straight loss.
Number 12 Villanova against number 17 Texas first half. Texas takes a 7-point lead on that dunk by Kai Jones. A bit later, shot clock running low. Colin Gillespie beats the buzzer for Nova. Less than 2 minutes to play. Nova up 3. Gillespie steals it. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. He's going to finish it. Villanova wins by 4, 68-64.
Got the top plays of the week from the NFL coming up. We count them down 1 through 5. Did this make the list? I assume it did because we're showing it in the tees. So. The NFL highlights continue. Bengals at Dolphins. First quarter, Brandon Allen to Tyler Boyd. Gets a nice block and then goes 72 yards for the 7-0 lead, but that lead did not hold. Shocker, right? Bengals didn't hold their lead. Dolphins come back to Tonga Vailoa to Mike Gesicki. The touchdown, second look, 13-7 lead. Jason Sanders had 4 field goals. The Dolphins just 1 loss behind the Bills in the AFC East. They'd be in the playoffs if they started today.
Special teams ruled the day for the Patriots against the Chargers. First, it's Gunnar Olszewski in the second corner. 70-yard punt return. Nice moves. It gives the Pats a 14-0 lead. And then how about this? The Pats blocking the field goal. Devin McCourty scoop it up and score it. The Pats dominated in a 45-0 win over the Chargers.
Give up on the Pats yet. They could sneak into the playoffs. It's time for another top 5, this time from the NFL.
Let the countdown begin.
And not just because of that race. Looking deep for Jefferson, who hauls it in at the 15.
What a rookie year for Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. Just the latest highlight in the overtime win over Jacksonville.
Pressure coming from Jeff Gladney. The throw is away off of the ricochet.
Yeah, sometimes luck has got to be on the side of a one-win team, right? Laviska Shenault. He's able to grab this one that ricochets off of the other player. The pass from Mike Glennon. That's Shenault's second career touchdown.
Tannehill, catch made. Brown, it's dislodged, but recovered.
I told you in the tease, the Titans with a little luck against the Cleveland Browns. Michael Pruitt, the fumble recovery for a touchdown, but their luck ran out as the Browns get the win.
Going on in Cleveland.
2nd and 7. Big running lane, and Jones takes off into the secondary.
Yeah, there it is. Right when the Eagles had been getting back into this game, it was Aaron Jones crushing their dreams. Gets everyone to miss. I love that move right there. 77-yard run, I should say, to ice it for the Packers.
Tua looking for Gesicki. He's got him!
The Dolphins have a star at tight end, not the first time. Mike Gesicki has shown up in the top 5 this year. He also had a one-handed catch, which we were supposed to show you right there. Yeah. So you can only imagine just how good that one-handed catch was It was so good, we couldn't include it in the top 5. It needed its own countdown. Cleveland Browns, right? They're
nuts.
good?
They're going to the playoffs.
I can't live in this world.
Yeah.